How big can I get my heart to be?
Thought Media Network proudly presents
How much love can I get flowing out of me?
The Real Talk Sisters. Deep, unfiltered, soulful conversations with Reverend Dr. Pjae Stanley, Reverend Kim Andrews, and Reverend Melinda Wood Allen.
How big can I get my heart to be?
Join us for Real Talk on Real Issues, Tuesdays, 2 p.m. Central, 1 o'clock Mountain. And now, let's join the Real Talk Sisters.
How big can I get my heart to be?
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? Oh, man. It's a great day. It was a great week and a great day. I'm Reverend Dr. Pjae Stanley, and welcome everybody to the show.
I'm Reverend Melinda Wood Allen. Good to see you here.
And I am Kim Andrews, spiritual leader at Unity Spiritual Center, Saxe.
Yoo-hoo. All right.
So let's check in.
Yeah.
So what's going on with you guys this week? You girls. Y'all.
More of the same. Just more of the same. More good stuff. Just, I was just sharing with you guys. It was a wonderful Super Bowl party we had on Sunday with family and friends. That was just great. And I don't know if you guys saw that wonderful Super Bowl show. It was fantastic. And then I left, but that's really all I cared about. Was commercials.
Like Usher's done. I'm out of here.
I'm out. I don't know what the rest of it's about. I'm out. It was great. So yeah, it's kind of a wonderful week. Just a wonderful week. It's only Tuesday, but starting off good. Yeah. How about you guys?
I've had a little bit of a tough week. My husband was in the hospital for a couple of days last week with it's a chronic problem that we're gonna be, it's sort of a new normal for us that we're gonna be dealing with. And sleeping in the hospital is exhausting. Actually, it just doesn't happen much. There's not much sleeping going on.
Yeah.
And so I think both of us were pretty exhausted by the time he got out. And then got out Saturday morning, and I had a Valentine's show with a jazz trio on Saturday night, which I made it to and made it through and had a really, really good time. And then
I heard good things.
Got up just a couple of hours later and went and did a church service, and then had a board meeting. And it was a long weekend. And so yesterday I rested, which is not my best thing. I'm not actually very good at not doing. And I did a pretty good job of it yesterday.
Well, that's what we talked about. One of our topics was self-care. So we're doing that ourselves. Doing that. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I needed to it wasn't even just resting my body, although I did need to do that. I did get some good sleep and didn't have a whole lot of activity. I took a long walk, but other than that, not a lot of activity. But I rested my mind,
That's it right there.
I had been in overdrive with, trying to stay in the present moment, but it's difficult not to worry when someone you love is ill.
Absolutely.
And at the same time going, okay, is he going to get out in time? Am I going to do this show? And I would have canceled it, of course, if anything had been really critical. Of course, I would have. But it would have been letting a lot of people down. And, so I was doing everything I could not to do that. So anyway, I made it through. And my husband, who is a real sweetheart, says, thanks for taking care of me. And that's part of it,
It is. We talk about all those parts.
That's the deal.
That is the deal.
And it really is. It's exhausting, and it's my privilege to be able to take care of him. And I do remind him, I will always take care of you. But if you would take care of yourself, that would make it easier on both of us.
Yeah. My sister was talking about that the other day. And I know, Kim, you're going to check on it, but she said, I'm not going to be your mother. You have to take care of your own health. I'll be there to help whatever you need, but I'm not going to be haranguing you and telling you what to do. You already know that. So that's your job. Yeah, it's your job.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. How about you, Kim?
So, Kim,
I am here. I am good.
Okay.
I am staying calm in the midst of a very full plate this week
Okay.
and carving out some space so I can breathe a little bit easier. There's some other things I wanted to do, but I'm going to have to say no to a couple of things.
Yeah.
That are not priorities. And that feels good, knowing I don't have to be between a rock and a hard place if I don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, there's that. And one of my former board members passed away, and I'm doing her celebration of life this Saturday. So,
Oh,
it's been a mixed bag of, putting together a service, supporting the family, supporting myself. I didn't realize how much this was rocking my world
Yeah.
until this past Sunday. I made the announcement, and the tears just started to roll as I'm talking.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then as I'm calling other people to tell them about her passing, I learned someone else passed. Another board member passed away in December,
Two?
and I did not know. Yeah,
Oh,
2 former board members who are really, for me, they were on the board when I first got to my center. So they were really the old guard for me,
yeah.
who supported me and loved me and were there at the very beginning. And even though I didn't talk to them very often at all, we talked from time to time. They were touchstones for me. And
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a beautiful service. It'll definitely be heartfelt. My community is totally supporting me and the family, and showing up and going to take care of them. So that really does my heart good, because we have a lot of new people who did not know her,
Right. Right.
and but they're still showing up, and that's nice.
Yeah.
It is nice. It's beautiful. That's love.
Yeah. So I'm
Nice
good.
community.
Considering we continue to walk through, don't we?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just keep moving. Just keep
Yeah.
it moving. That's what my son always says. The marathon continues. Just keep it moving.
Yeah. And I just remind myself I'm a powerful spiritual being. And sometimes I must say it aloud.
So you can hear yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
So I can hear it
Yeah.
aloud. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
write that down. I'm a powerful spiritual being.
Yes. And I have choices. I am always at choice.
Mhm.
Always.
Always,
Always
always.
that choice. So amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah. So we're talking about romantic love today.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's Valent. I like to say Valentine, the way it's that kindergarten pronunciation. It's Valentine's. And it's I don't know, it's time to talk about that, I think.
Yeah. You got a reading for us?
I do. I have a reading, and today what I want to share is, I'm trying to minimize my screen here so I can get to it. I want to share this reading from Khalil Gibran, and this is actually the reading on marriage, but it's partnership, it's relationship.
Right.
You were born together, and together you shall be forevermore. And this is true of all of us. We're one, right?
Yes.
Shall be together when the white wings of death scatter your days. Aye, you shall be together even in the silent memory of God. But let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of the heavens dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another of your bread, but eat not from the same loaf. Sing and dance together and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone, even as the strings of a lute are alone, though they quiver with the same music. Give your hearts, but not into each other's keeping, for only the hand of life can contain your hearts. And stand together, yet not too near together, for the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadow.
Mm, that is fantastic. I
That
love that. Just
idea,
says so many things.
yeah, the winds of
So
the
many
heavens
things.
and the moving seas between the shores.
And standing not in one's shadow.
Yeah.
I mean, that is an issue of just,
Yes.
just getting involved and then standing in someone else's shadow and letting yours die out, fall away. That's something you have to watch out for. I certainly did. I have to
Yes.
watch out for that. Thinking that, because who has a manual for relationships?
Right.
Who has that? Because if they had it, they'd be a gazillionaire.
Yeah.
If they had one that worked. So there's lots out there, but what's the salient point? And so there's just so many things, and so I'm excited about this talk today, and all the things we can talk about how to make a great relationship, how to make relationships work. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That's a great start. Thank you for that.
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
I love Gibran.
Yeah.
I actually talked about love on Sunday
Did you?
and talked about how we learn about love, that we learn it, in our families of origin. And so
Absolutely.
that picture that we get growing up is the picture we generally carry into our relationships.
Yes.
Until you come to a realization that perhaps you want something different and that there is something different than what you watched. And, I had to learn that after
Yes.
watching my parents together, and knew at some point, I don't want that. I don't want that. They were together for 62 years until my father passed. And, bless their hearts, they stayed together. And I know that they were doing their level best with what they came into the marriage with.
Yeah.
But there's the rub.
Mm-hmm.
You come in with lots of pain, and then you bring that pain into your relationship. And that was evident after some time. After you grow up and you start looking at things and you see your parents as adults, as human beings.
As human beings instead of just mom and dad. Yeah.
Yes. Who do all and have all the answers and all that other stuff. And you think, oh, they're human beings like I am, and they're just trying to make it through just like I am.
Struggling along just like everybody else. Exactly.
And do I want to repeat their patterns?
Right. And what exactly is that? Even trying to figure out what part of it, because not all of it's bad. I mean, I certainly, I can't remember who said it, but I say it all the time because it's so true for my parents. They were both good examples and horrible warnings in the same relationship. They just did so many things that I just thought, my God, this is a great couple. I mean, they laughed together and traveled together, and they were there for each other. But there came a point when that stopped, and I don't know. I'm not really sure what happened. I don't know if something. Well, I do know that my father became an alcoholic. I don't know what all the things that occurred that precipitated that. So he fell away from all the things he was doing. And so I just look at that, and one of the things that I came away with was that longevity is not the descriptor of a good marriage.
Yeah.
So because I've seen people stay that should have long been separated or something. So I know that for a fact, and that it is ongoing work. There's no putting it on say, oh, we're done. We can just sit it right here and say, that's it. That's what a good marriage looks like.
We're all good.
Because it's ever evolving. Yeah. What did you say, baby?
Yes. No, I was just saying, like, we're all good now.
Yeah, we're all good. This is it. We're done.
There is no
Never.
stagnation. There is growth, there is death.
That is it.
You're on your way in, or you're on your way out. You're on your
That
way
is
up.
exactly right. That's exactly right. And so what that work and for both people to be able to understand that and be willing to do whatever work it takes. And I certainly wasn't willing to do it. I didn't know what the work was. I didn't understand what you meant by work. I mean, I'm there, I'm loving you. What work? I didn't know what it was. It took a long time to even understand what that meant. So,
Yeah, and it's
in the beginning. Go ahead, Melinda.
that we use the word work a lot. Relationships
We
are
do.
work.
We do.
And they do take work, but
They
if
do.
there's not enough joy
Yeah.
there to
Yes.
make the work worthwhile, then
Right.
I'm an advocate for let it go. And I was married, you know, I've shared many times before that I came from this fundamentalist background. I
Yeah.
married very young. I knew it was a mistake almost immediately,
Yes.
but I didn't feel like I had a choice. And so I went to work. I'm going to
Yeah.
work. I'm going to read all
Make
the
it work.
books.
And make it work.
I'm going to watch Phil Donahue. I'm going to do what he says to do, you know, what his guests say to do. And one day and I hated talk radio, but my husband would just put on talk radio in the car. It would drive me crazy. But this one day he put it on and it was this radio psychologist. And this person called in and was talking about how he, you know, wasn't happy in his marriage. And he said, I know marriage is work. I know marriage is work. I know it is. And she said, but wait, hold on a second. There is labor involved, but the kind of work you're talking about, that it's supposed to be heavy,
Hard. Yes.
difficult, and you know, she said, no, it's
No.
supposed to be joy. And if there's not any joy, and man, it
Like
just resonated in my
Yeah.
brain
Yes.
that, oh, I'm working so hard and there is not joy in this. I mean, there was joy in the work when I was doing the work on myself and in myself in my own room by myself. But coming to bring that, trying to bring that into the relationship when it wasn't received or wanted or honored
Exactly. Or desired. Correct.
or desired.
Correct.
Yeah, it wasn't desired.
Right.
And it certainly wasn't, you know, or really even recognized.
Yeah.
It was one of the few things that came together that made me go, you know what? I get to make a different choice.
You
I
do.
don't have to live the rest of my life
Mm.
with a choice I made when I
You
was
don't.
dumb.
Young and dumb, which we all have been.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys, we are almost at time for our break. So
Wow.
before we start something new, you want to
Yeah.
go ahead and take our commercial
So
break?
come back with your thoughts, Kim, because you had something you were about to say. Yeah, we'll come back with.
Great. Awesome.
Great. Thank you. All right.
And we're back.
And
So I was thinking during this first segment that, you know, I believed in my 20s that if we loved each other, then that meant I should stay in forever, as long as I
Yes.
loved you. And that, you know, I just need to, like you said, keep up the work and do everything I had, give everything I have, bend over
Absolutely.
backwards.
Work hard.
Because, geez, you know, I love you, you say you love me, and this has got to work. If there's love there, it's got to work. And then I
Right.
learned that's not true. And because we love differently, and I found out with probably the relationships that was really evident, because he just loved me from a different place. And it wasn't something that was right for me. Doesn't mean he didn't love me, but he loved me differently than I needed.
Yeah.
And that took me a lot of years to figure out. I think we were off and on for about 8 years or so through my 30s until I finally realized I can love you, but I can love you from afar.
Yes.
And
Certainly.
perhaps we each need to go find what it is we need,
Yeah.
and wish each other well and
Yeah.
let this go.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did that.
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means, well, I think it does mean I love you, and we should each go do what is good for us.
Yes.
Correct.
That's
Because we're not.
ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, you're just the thing you talk about. If you start that you said with the beginning, Melinda. We're standing in each other's shadow. We're not, so we're not like the sunlight for each other. For some reason, that whatever that is, we're not a part of each. We're not able to be a part of each other's growth, and so then it becomes stagnant. As I was thinking about this topic, and I thought, what do I want in a relationship? What's the thing? And it's love and respect. I want to be able to be loved. I want to be respected. I want to be liked. I want to be liked. And there was a point in both the relationships that I was in. This is my second divorce. The first one should never happen because I was a teen, so that lasted 5 years, 4.5 years longer. It was a 5-year marriage and had lasted 4.5 years longer than it should have. Just because we both did love each other, but we're just damn stupid.
Yeah.
But then my second relationship, I didn't recognize it and didn't realize it for quite some time. Just looking back on it, actually, I get that, you didn't really like me. You didn't like me. You loved me, but you didn't like me. And
Wow.
so it took a long time for me to get that. And I thought, no, I'm a good person. I like myself. And why would I be around someone who doesn't actually like me? But I didn't get that. And so, as I'm looking at it and thinking about this topic, I'm thinking we get married for a lot of the wrong reasons. The first marriage is because I just thought I should, just that's what you do and you should. And the second marriage wasn't so much because I thought we were a match. It was because I thought he could teach me a lot of things. I really did.
Mm.
I thought I could learn a lot from him. And that was one of the bases for me marrying him. That's not really a reason.
Yeah.
Not really. Well, clearly, it's not. It doesn't last long, and so we didn't work on keeping it together because we just weren't on the same page. But how do you know that at the beginning? So my question, I guess, my thing is how do we know what do we need to know before we jump into a relationship? Certainly need to know ourselves and what we're
One thing
looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing we need to know is we need to know what our personal definition of love is,
Yeah.
because we make assumptions that what we think
We do.
think
Mhm.
love means,
Mhm.
that when the other
Absolutely.
person says I love you, that they must mean the same thing.
Same
And
thing.
that's not necessarily true at all.
No.
And
No.
I love M. Scott Peck's definition of love. It's the best one I've ever found, I think,
Okay.
which
Okay.
is that the willingness to extend yourself for the spiritual growth of another.
Oh my God, yes. Exactly.
So that means
Yeah.
you sometimes do the uncomfortable or inconvenient thing because you love.
Yes.
It
Yes.
doesn't mean the hard, laborious work, but it means you understand that there's something greater that's being striven for here.
Correct.
And
Correct.
that's the thing, same thing with self-love. Are you willing to do the hard or inconvenient or uncomfortable thing in order to grow yourself?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that willingness comes from a very generous place,
Yes.
and a willingness to be loving in a very radical way. That
Yes.
it's not just about I meet your needs, you meet mine.
No.
That there is a I think a spiritual purpose. That there's something, that there's this entity that is our relationship and our love
Mhm.
that needs to be nurtured.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means we sacrifice. Sometimes that means we do the uncomfortable. Sometimes that means that we are willing or spending time that maybe we thought we were going to put somewhere else. That we have to make the relationship our priority. Sometimes it's not about us, and sometimes it is. But I think if we come into it with the right intentions, then what feeds the relationship feeds us.
Right. Exactly.
But truly, we do have to know ourselves, because then
Yeah, we do.
you know how you love, what do you want from love, what do you expect from love, what does this relationship mean, how do I define this, what are
Yeah.
my lines in the sand,
Yes.
what's
Yes. What's a
acceptable,
go,
what
no
is
go?
not.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too often when we're talking about romantic love today, too
Yeah.
often we confuse love with these feelings of being high, these feelings of infatuation, these feelings
Yes.
of strong sexual chemistry.
Mm.
And you know that I think sexual chemistry is very important. It can get you through some rough times,
It can. It
but
can.
it's not the basis. If it's
It is
the
not.
basis, then you know that stuff doesn't last, and it's not every day, and it's not all the time.
What I want to do in my relationships is I want to trust that you are looking out for me as much or more as I am looking out for you. And so it brings me joy to see you joyful. It brings me joy to see you happy. And I'd like for it to bring you joy to see me happy. You know what I mean? That we're we we're so interested in making sure that we're both we're both, and not just happy giddy, but like joyous. That I can't even, there's no other word but the joy, the feeling that you have in your heart and your soul, that you are loved, well loved. And that's kind of what well loved looks like to me. That I have someone who I know has my back, even against themselves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just always thinking about, not going against themselves, but I'm saying that has my back in terms of, no, it's not really what I would like to do, but I see that it's something you would love to do. So let's try that. Let's do that. And vice versa, not always. Like, it
Yeah,
goes back and forth, back and forth. Um, and I
and
remember, yeah, go ahead. I'm going to come back to this. Go ahead.
it's not tit for tat,
It's not tit for tat. It's not that. It's not that.
and you have to have participation from both sides. You
You
know,
do.
it's not transactional, and yet
It's
if
not.
you're only giving or you're only taking, then you can never have a balanced relationship. It's got to
It cannot be. It's not
be.
healthy. I mean, it's just not a healthy relationship. Um, and I remember having one of my first bosses, and we became really good friends. We talked all night on the shift that we were on, and he would talk about his wife, and he really loved her and all that kind of stuff. He said, you know, sometimes we just look at each other and go, I can't stand you. And she's like, yeah, I can't stand you either. And he goes, you want to go get some ice cream? She said, let's go get some ice cream. You know, that's the kind of conversation they would have. And that's a healthy thing. It's like, you're on my nerves right now. All right, let's go get some wine and, you know, whatever.
Or you're on my
Or
nerves right now. I'll be back in.
I'll be back.
I'm just
I'll
gonna
be
go in
back.
the other room. I've got a book I can read. You know.
All right. I'll talk to you in the morning.
Yeah.
Let's call it a day.
Yeah.
Call it a day. So, you know, it's just not going to be all roses and, you know, candy and lollipops, and that's okay. I'm not looking for that. But I'm looking for that I can trust. Um, there's something that I lost it because I was looking at this thing from Zoe. Sorry, I lost what I was going to say, but I'll come back to it. It doesn't matter. uh, but yeah.
So I want to hear what you ladies have to say about something that has been really powerful in my marriage, and that I really believe, which is this idea of the imago, which
I don't know what that is.
it means that we have a soul contract with whoever we are partnered with,
Okay.
and in order to help each other grow. And what that sometimes means is this person that we're so, for whatever reason, attracted to in many ways, that we like, that we love, that we respect, that we whatever, also unconsciously pushes every freaking button that we have. And we push theirs. And somehow the love is strong enough to keep us together. But the idea is that it's not just pushing buttons to make each other miserable, but
Right.
we are mirroring to each other the places where we need growth. And that sometimes you're only going to grow from that place if you get uncomfortable enough to need to grow. And to be partnered with somebody who makes you grow in those areas is to me, it's grace. It can be really uncomfortable, but it's also grace. And
Yeah.
I see Bob and I just celebrated 30 years in October, married 33 together.
Yeah.
He just, and I'll share this, he just celebrated 18 years of sobriety. I have 26 years in Al-Anon. So do some math in there and you can see there were lots of crazy years, and there were years where we were working on getting healthy and not always doing it in the right ways. And then we've had years where we both, where we've come to is that we're both very committed to our own recovery, whatever that means to you. I mean,
Yes.
I'm recovering
Yeah.
from being a person who grew up thinking that life meant pleasing all the alcoholics around me.
Sure.
I
Right. Yeah.
was recovering from growing up thinking I need to please Jesus so that I don't go to hell. That sort of thing. And that
Yeah.
I needed someone else to make me whole somehow.
Yeah.
I'm in recovery from that. He's in recovery from not just drinking. Drinking is a symptom of whatever the whole disease of alcoholism is, which has to do with low self-esteem and a certain self-centeredness. And I'm not gonna take somebody else's inventory, but we've both had to do a lot of growing ourselves in order for our relationship to grow. And we're both so grateful that whatever it was that made us want to stay together was enough of an incentive to make us do really uncomfortable work
Yeah.
in order to grow to the point where we could be truly joyful together and happy together and happy for each other and with each other.
Yeah. I've never heard of the concept that you're talking about, but I do know what I believe. I don't know this at all, but what I believe is that what bothers me in someone else is something that I need work on. I know that, and I know that for sure. I don't think of myself as needing as being a soul contract or need because if I think of it that way, then I don't have the freedom to do what's necessary. If I'll stay too long or not, you know what I mean. So I don't think of it in that way. But I do believe that that there's both of us have to be healthy, whatever healthy looks like. We both have to be willing to do whatever work is necessary to become healthy, to know what it takes, because everybody comes to a relationship with different ideas about what a working relationship looks like. If the three of us were to get married, I mean, the way that Kim's, if it's the way that Kim saw relationships, the way you saw relationships, and the way I did, it would be crazy. We'd have to come someplace in the middle and figure out, okay, well, I thought that I gotta let that go. That doesn't work. But what will work for us? What will work for us? And so we have to come to some place to say, I understand and I love you and I know that this is a part of your childhood or whatever. This isn't going to work for us. Let us look and see what can work for us. And so having that willingness to say, yeah, this is what I brought to the table. It does or does not work for me either. So what's the work that we are both willing to do to ensure that we are together? And so that's what healthy people will do. I've not been in a relationship with two healthy people
Well, here's the
so
deal.
far. So
Neither
far.
have I.
Yeah.
I've never come to a relationship as a healthy person, but I have
Right.
grown into a healthy
Exactly.
person
I'm
through
becoming
a
one.
relationship.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would have been prompted as strongly to grow into the relative health that I enjoy now
Yes. Right.
in another relationship. Certainly not in a relationship where somebody did what I wanted them to do and capitulated to me,
Right.
or always went, okay, if we were completely in sync, oh yeah, where would the growth be? Where would the growth
Exactly.
So
Um,
that's more, it's not a contract as in we're bound by this, but a contract as in, I'm going to push your buttons and you're going to push my buttons, and we're going to negotiate what can come out of this that's good for both of us. And if there's no negotiation, if it can't happen, if one partner is not willing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The willingness is all, really.
Yeah.
The willingness.
We have a viewer, who Chris Huron, who said that some say a marriage is 50-50. A friend says it's 100%. You put all of yourself in it. I think that's absolutely correct, Chris.
Absolutely.
It's 100%. You're not looking for, there's no such 50-50 is nonsense. It's 100, both sides, all the time. All the time.
Well
And
said.
sometimes you can't. Sometimes you're just not like, you just said, Melinda, how tired you were, how tired Bob is. How's he going to put in 100% when he's not feeling well? So you're going to come into 120, to take care of both of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You do what needs to be done.
Mhm.
You do what needs to be done. But to think of that as a split is nonsense. That's a formula for failure. That's what that is, in my opinion.
And
What do you guys think?
transactional.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes, it does. It does. What are your thoughts, Kim?
Put in our chat, in our little text, that love is not transactional, but it can be transformative. Love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
Yeah. I actually waited to get married until I was healthy, because I watched so much stuff with my parents. I said, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it until I can figure this out. And I'm not doing it until I meet somebody who wants this as much as I want it, and who is all in 100% like I am. So, Quentin is the first person I was in relationship with that I was friends with first. It wasn't built on, because all my others were built on lust and attraction. And we worried about how compatible, or what else do we want later on, which was totally backwards for me. Yeah. So, we were friends first. And so our relationship, first our friendship, then our marriage, was always based on authenticity, a genuine caring for each other, enjoying being with each other, sharing joy with each other. He had taken care of me when I was sick, took me to the emergency room. And I remember that day, because I was terribly sick. And I didn't want to be around me. And when I kept waking up in the emergency room, and he would be sitting right there, and I think, oh my gosh, he's a keeper. Because if he's sitting through this, boyfriend's a keeper. He's a keeper. He took me, and I remember at the time I was dating someone else. So I'm friends with my soon-to-be husband, dating someone else, and the guy I dated said, look, call me when you feel better, and we'll hang out. Or, really the answer was hang out. He wasn't talking about hanging out. Yeah. Because I'm no good to him sexually.
Right.
If I'm sick. So, he said, you just ring me up. And I said, no, I won't be doing that. No,
but thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing me who you really are. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. So,
it's nice that we've just always been truly ourselves. We had no illusions about each other. We knew each other's history. We just had fun together. We accepted each other for exactly who we are. And I think it was later on where I finally said, I looked at him and went, maybe this is it.
Maybe this is the guy. Yeah.
Maybe this is the guy. And he was nothing like anybody else I had ever dated, because I didn't have any illusions, because I didn't go in thinking, oh, is this the one? Is this the one?
Right.
What kind of couple are we going to make? We were just, actually, we worked together. We worked together.
And even with all of that, it still work once you get married. It's still, even that you guys have, you guys are matched well, and you like each other, and you have a lot of things going in. You still can't just lay it down and go, okay, well, we're done. We know each other, and that's it. There's still going to be, some discoveries, some adjustments. It's constant. It's constant work. And so if there's no joy in it, why would you do it? You won't.
Yes.
You won't.
And he grew up in a very different household. I mean, he had parents who were very much in love with each other. And I grew up with the exact opposite of that. And so, we did this in the beginning. And I was at least healthy enough to know that I didn't want to do this. And so I had to ask him for space, like you said, Melinda, to go away for a while. Let me deal with my stuff, and then I'll come back. and then we can have a respectful, loving conversation
Yes.
about whatever this is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that took some work for him to be able to say, okay, because he just wanted to, let's make it okay. Let's make it okay. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't want this. Time out. Time out. No,
I'm trying to
buddy.
save you. I'm trying to help you out.
I'm saving you
Want this.
Believe me when I
very-
tell you.
from the big ugly. I'm saving you. Big ugly.
I'm saving you, buddy. I think it's about time for us to take a break. And we'll come back with more of this great conversation, ladies. Fantastic. And viewers, thank you. All right.
Yay.
There we go. Yeah.
So you were talking about authenticity and how important that is.
Mhm.
And I have to say, when I entered my relationship with Bob, my current husband, I was all about, let's figure out what you need me, who you need me to be. Not just him, everybody in my life. Let me figure out who you need me to be so I can show up that way, so that you will love me, so that I can be okay.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
never occurred to me that I could make myself okay. So I was I'm a loving person,
Yeah,
and
you are.
I'm a nurturer. I'm a giver.
Yes.
And I think he had not had that in his
Mhm.
life. And he was looking for that. So, there were some ways that we were very, very well matched. But so that part of me was real. And yet I listened to the music that he wanted to listen to. I went to the places that he wanted to go. I watched the movies that he wanted to watch. And thankfully he was a mature enough person that he would ask me, well, what do you want to see? What do you want to do? But, my problem is I didn't always know back then. And so I had to come into my authentic self. And there's a risk there. If you come into a relationship pleasing somebody, and then suddenly you go, yeah, well, I'm not really that much that way.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with that. Yeah.
I was like,
You're on your own, buddy.
I was working really hard then, and I'm just not working that hard anymore.
I'm done.
We have this running joke that when we were dating, I sewed a lot in my younger years. I barely ever sew at all anymore, but I made him these really gorgeous shirts, beautifully
you?
finished and yeah,
Wow.
as a gift. And
Wow.
and every once in a while, like every year or so, he'll say, remember when you made me those shirts?
I do. Yeah.
You never make me shirts anymore. I say, yeah, we're already married.
We're done.
That was definitely a dating thing.
It's over, buddy.
It's like, I don't make myself shirts anymore. I don't sew anymore. Sorry, you're not getting a shirt, dude. But that's like a joke. They say, you never do that anymore. Yeah, I just don't work that hard anymore. Sorry.
Yeah. Elvis has left the building.
Okay. And to think that we're going to grow, think about this. I mean, we're going to grow from being a child at home, being a teenager, a young adult, an adult, a woman, a married, all the things. We're changing and evolving. And you think that that's going to stop because you got married? No, you're going to continue to change and evolve and discover things about yourself, things that you thought was what you were about, because it seemed that you were. But then you thought, wait a minute, I don't actually like that. I don't actually want to do that anymore. But that I was doing that, and you discover why you were doing that. I was doing that as a people pleaser, or I thought I had to. I didn't realize I had a choice. All of these things, and so that's a naturally occurring situation for us to be growing. So then the relationship is going to have to grow to accommodate who we are becoming.
Yes.
And the love will be there. The joy, that's why I think love and respect is such a big deal. Because of love, respect, and liking somebody, to actually like them. Yeah. Because when you like them, then you can, okay, I'm happy for you. I see where you're going. You've always been someone I like. So we're friends. And so I want to see good things for you. And so I can I can make space and room in my heart and in what we're doing for you to grow, because that's where you need to go. That's what you need, and vice versa. I can do the same, right? And
And I
so
think
that's ideally what you're looking for.
we all have experience with friends in our lives.
Yeah.
Best friends, long-term girlfriends, who we are way different now than we were when we got together. And
Absolutely.
now, not everybody I used to be friends with is still a friend to me, but I have
No,
some
no, no.
that I have, man, have we both really changed and evolved, and yet we're still very much friends. We still very much love each other. And I think it was because we truly had genuine respect and just liked each other.
Exactly.
And that doesn't change
It doesn't.
as the person
No.
grows. Now, maybe
No, it
as the
doesn't.
person changes and goes down, roads that are just like, I'm not going down that road with
I'm
you.
not. Yeah.
But
But
as
see you when
the
you get
person
back. Yeah.
grows, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the way it is in a marriage. And I think,
It just is.
Kim got it. Friendship. That's
Yeah.
the deal.
Yeah. And
You
a
can't
true heart
shouldn't be married.
connection. Yeah. Just, and it's a true heart to heart connection. I really want the best for you. I really do. And it would be wonderful if you wanted the best for me. When you do that, when you really want that, it's like you want it for your best friends. Well, I see that for you. I want that for you. And so why wouldn't your partner want the same thing?
Yeah.
Because it's not like well, you're gonna be bigger than me. So there's jealousy going on and all kinds of nonsense. No, that's not what you're looking for. So I just love, like, respect. I think those are absolutely essential in a relationship. And so there you go. There's something else I want to share. It's probably going to come back to me in a minute. Oh, forgiveness. Yeah, forgiveness.
Oh,
Um,
God.
oh my God. You have to be good at forgiveness, because we're human beings. We're going to screw up something badly, right? And just not behave. We're going to behave outside of ourselves just for whatever reason, because we're human beings.
Yeah.
We're human beings. And so the ability to truly forgive your partner because you know that they love you.
Yeah.
This is not their intention. It's not what they want for you. So I can't. I
In
mean,
true forgiveness,
yeah.
I have learned and understand that there are layers of forgiveness, but you get to the point where you realize that true forgiveness is there's nothing to forgive.
Exactly.
Unless you
That's what
recognize
unconditional love is. Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
doing the
You
best
don't
you
need
could
to.
on that day.
Mm.
It wasn't your best in your life, but none of us wants to be judged on our worst day.
Well, we're staying.
You're doing
Yeah.
the best you could on that day, and I'm not going to hold that against you. I'm
Yeah.
not going to bring it up and
Right.
remember
That
it.
part.
Use it
That part.
to poke at you.
Remember when that whole sandbagging thing, that doesn't help anyone. And would you do it for a friend or your child, or you know what I mean? Would you do that? And so no. So why would you do that for your loving spouse? So true forgiveness is really critical, I believe. So this
We
is
went through a rough patch for a little bit because there were some things I wanted to change about my husband. And I,
how'd that
and I
work for you?
thought,
How'd that work?
why can't, oh, well, I really tried.
If he would only cooperate, yeah.
And I tried to beat him over the head with it metaphorically. And, if you would just do this, if you just be this way, if you just be this way. And then finally, it just dawned on me. It was just stressful for him and for me. It really was. Yeah. And at some point I thought, let me just let this go. I need to just love him for who he is. And I really sat down and thought, you know what? I knew this when I married him. I knew this. And if I'm going to accept him fully for who he is, and I know he is making his best effort to accept me fully for who I am, let me just let it go. And it was interesting that as soon as I did that, then he was doing things that I had wanted without me asking. And it came from a different place, not because he wanted just some peace in the house. He wanted this beast to calm the heck down. Because there was that. Yeah. And but that really, So I needed to be reminded that love really is about accepting people for who they are and loving them where they are, as they are,
Exactly. As they
and
are.
working with that and respecting that.
Yeah.
And so if that means that perhaps I'm not always going to get what I want,
Yeah.
that's okay. And I had to decide that these things that I think are missing
Yeah.
are things that are not priorities. When I really thought about it, I thought the things that are important, the values that we share, the principles that we share, the way that we live and love each other, that's what matters. And
Yeah.
this other stuff, small stuff,
Yeah.
small stuff, leave
It
it
is.
alone, sister, leave it alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
Why are
now
you
we can
picking at
joke
that?
with each other about it and appreciate each other for it. And it's just better because, man, I had started a little tug of war. And well, actually, I was trying to put the rope around his neck and just drag him forward where I needed him to be. I wouldn't suggest it. No, not in
Oh
any way,
my
shape, or
God.
form.
It's
I,
amazing. And go ahead.
I used to have a sign in my office that said, "Never try to teach a pig to sing. It frustrates you and annoys the pig." In other words, pigs don't sing. They don't.
It's just they
So
do what
if
they
you
do.
want them singing, go somewhere else. Don't
Okay,
try to force
That's
somebody to
right.
be what they're not.
Yes,
It
yes.
frustrates you and annoys the crap out of them.
And when you want to oink, go to the pig.
Exactly.
Go to the pig. He's got oinks for you. Yes.
The people show up exactly the way they are, and then we get in a relationship and start trying to change things. I remember a partner of mine said that they were in the relationship. What they loved so much about me was how happy I was, and just how much joy and laughter. And then after a while, all the laughing and joy and whatnot got on his nerves. You're always laughing about
Why are
that
you so
off.
happy? What's wrong with you?
So I mean, so, so the thing that you love about someone can turn into the thing that annoys the shit out of you. Sometimes it just happens, and you got to remember that this is what you love about them. This is what drew you. So stop being upset because they're doing exactly who they are. They're being exactly who they are. What are you upset about? This is what you stop it. So you got to call it out. You got to call yourself on it. You got to call yourself on it. Stop acting crazy.
And what I would say about that is
Yes,
we are often attracted to things in other people that we feel lacking in ourselves.
I think you're
But
right. I think you're right.
I love that joy. I want that joy.
Yes,
But I'm never going to be able to, in a relationship with you, if the joy all belongs to you and I can't bring any joy for myself, then
right.
of course it's going to annoy me.
Yeah.
So I have to be aware enough of what's going on with me. That's like, I liked her joy. Maybe it's not her. Maybe it's that I like joy.
Joy.
And I'm going to have to
Yes.
figure out how to find some. I can't
Right.
borrow someone else's.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And so again, all of this is about coming to know yourself all the time. And what I was going to say earlier that I left me but came back to me now is that just because we figured one thing out doesn't mean it's going to work every time, or that some other nonsense is going to jump up. So we have to always be at the ready to learn what we need to learn in whatever situation we're in. Always something new. So there's no sitting back on your laurels. We got this now. There's a moment. The moment we got this, we don't got it.
There are no laurels. You
No,
cannot
there are
rest
no
on
laurels.
laurels.
No,
They don't
no.
exist.
It's just work. It's going to be work. It's going to be joy. It's going to be everything. It's a full gamut of emotions in a relationship. But the point is, the question becomes, why are you in it to begin with? You have to know why you're in it, and have that commitment from the beginning. Why are you there? Because, yeah, why are you
I
there?
know when
And
I
be
was
there
young,
for whatever.
I fell in love with people's potential.
Oh my God,
I
you can be. You're
like
gonna
you,
be.
and
You're gonna
I
be.
think with a little work,
You're gonna be.
you could be just what I always wanted.
Yay. Oh my God.
Tell you, my daughter, who is in her 30s, this cracked me up. I thought it was so courageous a few years ago, but it makes total sense. But it was totally counterintuitive to me as a pleaser. And I purposely raised her to not be a pleaser. not realizing that
Yeah.
that meant she wouldn't always want to please me either. So it's been an interesting road.
Ouch.
But she decided to meet somebody on the internet, do some internet dating. And so rather than putting her hottest picture and telling about all the wonderful things she is and does, she put her worst picture of herself and wrote all of her faults.
Look
like,
at that.
I know. She said, well, he's going to find out eventually anyway. Why not just weed him out for
Just
the
weed him out. Weed him out.
Go with this.
Because this is the norm. This is the norm right here. So
That's courageous.
wonderful
of her, and totally
that was
not
wonderful.
what I would have done in a million
Never.
years. This was in
Never.
her mid-20s, probably.
No. Well, first of all, you're 20,
No.
so you're already gorgeous, no
I
matter
would
what you
have
do.
just-
But still,
Yeah.
I kind of like that because you're really
I
asking,
like
you
it.
know what, if this scares you, you need not apply.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
bother.
Save yourself. Save me and yourself.
And there's
I
nowhere
love
to go but up from here. So
Yeah. I love it. I remember reading it. I wish I could never find it. It was such a long time ago, and it was a beautiful. When I found it, it was an old yellow piece of newspaper, but it was an Ann Landers or Dear Abby at one of those columns, and the woman was going on about how her husband was ignoring her. She'd come home and he wouldn't talk to her. She'd have his dinner ready and have his drink ready and blah 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 blah. Just complaining about the lack of love. And Landers said, "Well, just love him." And she said, "What are you talking about? I'm doing all this." She goes, "Just love him. Just love him." And so she wrote back later and she said, "You know what? I did. I just started loving him. Just no expectations." Because essentially, when she was doing all these things transactionally, looking for something in return. But when she just did it for the joy of just meeting him at the door and having his dinner ready and not nagging, just being there and just being this gracious person, he started feeling the difference. He started feeling it. And then he just started engaging her. And you know what I mean? So it's such a simple thing to say, but that's what it is. Whoever you're loving, love them. Love them, not transactionally. Love them. Love who they are.
So we last week we said we had these tools that we shared
Oh,
about
yes,
love, and promised that we would write them down. And our producer Zoe has those. So is now the time to put them up, Zoe?
Yeah, apparently it is.
Yep. There we go.
You could take a screenshot of this if you want to keep that. Just take a screenshot.
Keep this.
Yeah.
I was thinking
look at
that
it later.
Yeah, one of the things that you said, Pjae, and I think it's on the second page, is lead with love. It changes the energy in the room. Lead with love. Stop looking for what's in it for me and start looking at what's in it from me.
Beautiful. Yeah. What's coming from me? And so
and if you that is completely not to say if it's all from you and you're still getting nothing back that you need to stay.
At some point, you got to make a decision about that.
yeah.
But you start there. For sure. So we're starting down to our last. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if anybody's watching and you don't get this list, email us at realtalksisters@gmail.com and we'll send you the list.
We do actually check it.
Yes.
We do actually check the mail. So we will get it and send it to you.
Meaning Pjae. Thank you, Pjae.
we all take care of each other.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. We do our part.
We have 1 minute.
Yeah, we got about a minute left. So
how about one word from each of us about love? What would your one word be?
For me, it's openness. Just openness.
I'll tell you what saves my marriage. Humor.
Yes.
Laugh. You got to laugh about it. You got to have the willingness to laugh about it.
I think mine's authenticity. Just be real.
Yeah. Just say what it is. It is what it is. Say it.
Just
Be
it. I tell you what, I'm real these days. I don't have the energy to be anything else.
Thank you all so much for
being here.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your comments.
We're going to talk about love again next week and like societal love, right? Is that where we're going?
Sounds good to me. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. We can do that. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody.
Thank you. All right. We'll see you soon. Bye.